What's going on, guys? I'm your host from the East Coast, GinaMan94, here to give you guys my WWE Smackdown Live review for November 22nd, 2016. The first Smackdown coming off of Survivor Series, in which Smackdown kind of had a rough night, but they did pick up two key wins. The Intercontinental Championship stays on SmackDown, and Team SmackDown, the men's team, was able to be victorious over Raw's men's team. So let's get right into it. The good thing is that Shane McMahon is okay, because he came out, said other than feeling, pretty sore, like he got hit by a truck, he's pretty fine. I don't think he has a concussion or anything, because he was on SmackDown for the whole night. He's doing alright after taking that spear from Roman Reigns after he tried to hit coast to coast. His team did pick up a big victory in the match that he was in. He congratulated Team Raw for bringing the fight to him the whole night. And specifically Roman Reigns, who nearly separated him from his Jordans, as he said. He thanked the Soul Survivors, Randy and Bray, for not giving him any problems, even though he figured those would be the two who would. And the two who couldn't put their problems aside almost costed them the match. And that's Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles. So, of course, Dean Ambrose came out acting like everything was fine, saying him joining the Shield Buddies almost costed them the match. Dean was like, forget all of that, we need to focus on the positives, and that Ellsworth was the MVP of the match for taking out Braun Strowman. So then, of course, James came out. He was in a neck brace, selling the table spot he took from the Strowman. I think he had a back brace on as well, because Strowman killed that man. I'm surprised he was still walking. And Dean tells Shane to tell him the surprise that he has for him, and he's just so giddy and excited about it that he tells him himself that he's getting a SmackDown contract for all his contributions to Team Blue. Then he gives Dean the night off, because he says he needs to leave the building because he's been too out of control. He's been too much of a lunatic, even though that's his gimmick. He needs to leave the building. He knows it's unpopular, but it needs to be done. He just needs to take the night off and just be gone. So Dean's like, all right, you know what, that's fine, that's fair. So he starts walking away. And then as he's walking away, AJ Styles comes out. And AJ Styles came out and said SmackDown has become the land of inopportunity. Dean should be kicked off of SmackDown for what he did to him at Survivor Series. And now Ellsworth has a contract on SmackDown. That's crazy. Shane tells him that he knows what he's doing, and Ellsworth deserves a contract for what he did for the team. And AJ says, if you want to deserve a contract, then you should face him in a ladder match so he can warm up for TLC. And if you can climb the ladder and grab the contract, you deserve it. But if not, I'll climb up and rip it up right in front of your face. No more contract for you, because he didn't feel like James actually deserved the contract. So Shane tells him that he doesn't have to fight for the contract. He already has it. He's obviously injured. He doesn't have to do all of that. But Ellsworth says he doesn't have a problem fighting AJ Styles, but if he wins, he not only wants a full-time contract, but he wants a future shot at the WWE World Championship. Shane makes it official, and then out of nowhere, Dean popped up back in the ring and put his arm around Shane and Ellsworth after supposedly supposed to be gone from the arena. It was just like, yeah, guys, I completely agree with that. Shane's just like, dude, I give up, and then just walked out of the ring. And Dean, just this whole night was just hilarious. Like, you'll hear about it. This man was everywhere and all over the place. So next we had a backstage segment. We had a lot of those tonight, so bear with me. It was The Miz and Daniel Bryan, and The Miz was having a little photo shoot with Maurice with his title. He was expecting to have a celebration, and Daniel Bryan was like, you embarrassed SmackDown by the way you won. And Miz was like, he's doing what he could to keep the titles, and he's doing what he, Daniel Bryan, and Dolph can't do, and that's be a fighting champion. And Daniel says, well, Kalisto was screwed out of his Cruiserweight Championship opportunity by Baron Corbin, so since The Miz is a fighting champion, he'll have to defend his title against Kalisto. It kind of made sense, but then it kind of didn't, because if Kalisto's a Cruiserweight, why is he getting a title opportunity at The Miz's Intercontinental Championship? I don't understand that one. That was a little bit weird, but it was okay. Then Dean was asked to leave by Shane again in the backstage area, and he escorted him to the door to make sure that he was gone. Then we did have the Intercontinental Championship match, Kalisto versus The Miz. It was pretty solid match in the beginning. Kalisto had The Miz off his game from the beginning. Having that fast-paced match style is something that The Miz isn't used to, so he had to slow it down to gain the momentum in the match and to get the upper hand, which wound up working in his favor. And since Kalisto is so quick, though, he couldn't keep him down for too long. But like I said last night, I think it was, during my SummerSlam. Why do I keep calling it SummerSlam? My Survivor Series review. The Miz can work with anybody and make them look good. His selling is in the top tier of the WWE, and he's been putting on great matches. Can't really knock him for that. But Kalisto got distracted by an interfering Baron Corbin again, because Baron Corbin still has a problem with him, I guess. And, he knocked Corbin off of the apron, but then he got caught with a skull-crushing finale, and then The Miz retained his title. And then Corbin attacked Kalisto again and hit the end of days. And then while The Miz was, clapping for Baron Corbin at the top of the stage with Maurice, Dolph Ziggler was waiting behind him, and then as soon as The Miz turned around, he got hit with a super kick. So, I believe they're going to have their last match. I think they set that up later on or something like that. But, The Miz got caught with a super kick. That's what you get for being overconfident and not paying attention to your surroundings. Then we had another backstage segment. I think it was with the women this time. Alexa Bliss is wondering when she's going to get her SmackDown Women's Championship rematch because she felt she was screwed out of the match by the referee. And Becky Lynch tells her she'll get her match at TLC. Then Natalya pops up and says Becky Lynch was to blame for their loss. And she felt like the only reason Becky let the team down is because she's threatened by Alexa Bliss and got distracted. Becky says she fought to the end and she's not scared of Alexa Bliss at all. Shane shut it all down, was just like, oh, I blame all of you. And since Natalya, since you think you're all high and mighty, you can face Becky Lynch. And then Dean Ambrose came back into the office after he was escorted out of the arena with pizza this time. And Shane is confused again. He's like, why are you still here? Please leave. I'm telling you to please go. And it was just hilarious. He kept popping back up after Shane told him to leave. And you knew he was going to pop up in the main event, of course. But he left again with his pizza after offering to give Shane some food. And Shane wasn't having it. He was obviously starting to get pissed off at this point. Daniel Bryan tells Baron Corbin that he doesn't have a problem with him making a name for himself, but his actions against Kalisto cost the SmackDown the Cruiserweight Championship, and he just can't have that, so he put him up against Kane to give him somebody, I guess, of his own size, I guess, to punish him for his actions at Survivor Series. Next, we had Tag Team Turmoil. I think it was like 5 or 6 teams in this. They start off with 2 teams. Once one team gets eliminated, another team came into the ring. And the winner of this would be facing Heath Slater and Rhino at TLC for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Ascension started off the match with the Hype Bros. They started off good. They threw Mojo into the barricade and pretty much had the advantage early on, but Ryder was able to stay alive until Mojo got back in the ring. And then they hit the Hype Rider to knock them off. Next team was Breezango. They took out the Hype Bros with ease. And then American Alpha came out, rolled up Fandango. They got them out of there. And then they eliminated the Vaudevillans who came out, which led to them versus the Usos, who, instead of all the tag teams who ran to the ring, they slowly walked to the ring, which I loved. They showed their intimidation, and they started the fight on their own time. They were in no hurry to get to the ring. They took a good 30 seconds to walk down that ramp, which led to a pretty good tag team match between 2 great teams. And then they finally were able to defeat the Usos after, like I said, a pretty great match. And then, just as they thought it was over, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and Luke Harper popped up on the screen. And Bray was like, don't worry. You don't have to worry about us this week. But this tag team turmoil isn't over. Because next week, you guys got to face us. So go ahead and catch your breath. Because next week, you're in for it. And, it'll be him and Randy versus American Alpha next week. And the winner of that match, I guess, is going to face off for the Tag Team Championships. I don't know why they didn't do it tonight. I guess for the sake of time, they couldn't do it. But that's going to be an incredible match next week. I can't wait to see that. Dean Ambrose popped back up into the office while Daniel Bryan was talking to James Ellsworth. And, he was warning him about AJ Styles and stuff. Dean popped up. He was like dressed as I think a manti or a mountie or something like that. He was just like, AJ Styles is a very dangerous man, so just be careful out there. And Dana was like, dude, if you don't get out of here, Shane's gonna flip. And that's exactly what happened. Also, he was just James Ellsworth said he was pretty much prepared for AJ, and if any man with 2 hands has a fighting chance, then any man with 2 feet can climb the ladder and grab the contract. And then, Danny was like, Dean, you gotta go. Shane's gonna flip out. And then Shane came into the office, and like I said, he was obviously pissed at this point. He came in and went off. He was like, dude, why are you still here? I've told you to leave. Now you're being insubordinate and disrespectful to me. please leave before I do something that I don't want to do. And then Daniel Bryan calmed him down. Was like, hey, Shane, you know what? You've had a long weekend. Why don't you just take the night off? Take the rest of the night. Just chill. I'll handle this. I'm in charge. I'll take care of it. Shane was like, yeah, because I'm going to do something I'm going to regret. And he was about to beat the hell out of Dean. He told him to leave, and he wouldn't leave. So Shane leaves, and Dean was like, all right, I'm gone. But just tell AJ Styles this one message for me. The Mountie always gets his man. And that was just hilarious. Dean was just pissing off Shane McMahon, and I thought Shane was about to hit him with them fisticuffs. I thought he was about to put the hands to Dean. He was getting pissed. So after that, we had Natalya versus Becky Lynch, which it wasn't a pretty match at all, and I don't mean that in a bad way. These two wrestle a very gritty type of match. I'm not saying it was sloppy, but I definitely enjoyed the match. They aren't about the high flying; they're about the whole technical style of match. Natalya gave her a good run, but she eventually fell victim to the disarmer. Had to tap out. Alexa Bliss, who was on commentary, attacked Becky Lynch after the match, and they're pretty much just building towards their match at TLC. I think it'll be as good as their first match was. I think it's just a regular, normal type of match. But yeah, I can't wait for that match at TLC as well. They're pretty much just advancing the storylines and everything heading into TLC. Miz walked into Daniel's office to complain about Dolph super kicking him, and says, let me guess, you're going to take his side and give him a title match. Daniel was like, yes, he's entitled to his rematch, but it's going to be the very last match that these guys have, and it will be a ladder match at TLC. So this will be the final culmination of their whole rivalry, which is why I think The Miz is going to retain the title. Because if this is going to be their last match, it would be no point for Dolph to win the match just so they have another match. So I think this is the end of it. They've had a great feud, though. I can't even complain about it. It's been very interesting. The storyline of this whole thing has kept me invested in it this long. So in 2 weeks, they will finish it off once and for all. So The Miz can move on to bigger and better competition. Nikki Bella accused Carmella of attacking her at Survivor Series, so she couldn't be in the match with them. Carmella says maybe it's somebody else because you've made a lot of enemies. Could have been Team Raw, the E Network, or it could have been anybody. And they pretty much set up a no disqualification match at TLC to also end their rivalry. So going forward, they're going to have a bunch of different storylines happening, which I think it's about time for all of that. It's about time they start doing different things, and even though I've been enjoying what they've been doing, it's about time. So they'll have a no disqualification match, which is very interesting because now they're going to use weapons against each other. That'll be cool. Can't wait to see that. They're trying to make up for the women's Hell in a Cell match on Raw. I'm pretty sure about it. Kalisto came to interfere in the match that Baron Corbin had with Kane after getting screwed out of 2 titles over the past 3 days, and Corbin winded up running into a chokeslam by Kane. By then, the match was over. He had already got disqualified. And then Kalisto went and grabbed a chair, and Corbin got out of the ring, ran back into the ring. Kalisto threw the chair at him and hit a spinning heel kick. Shades of RVD. RVD used to do that all the time. Trying to show that he's not afraid of the big bad Corbin. So I think they're going to have a match at TLC as well. And I guess with the time that SmackDown has, they got to kind of not really rush the storylines, but pretty much show you what's going to be happening at TLC. Because they only have 2 weeks to prepare for it. So they got to get this stuff out of the way pretty quick. And then we had the main event. James Ellsworth versus AJ Styles in a contract ladder match. So, like I said earlier, Ellsworth was still in his neck brace and his back brace, and he was selling injuries that Braun Strowman bestowed upon him. AJ was embarrassing him pretty much, just exploiting whatever weaknesses that he already had, but going after his injured areas, his neck and his back, pretty much just destroying him. But he wanted to do more damage to him. He injured his back again, and then he pinned him under the ladder and was just climbing up to get the contract and ending the whole match. And then, of course, like I said earlier, you knew Dean Ambrose was going to come out. He came out dressed in an Ottawa Senators. I guess that's their hockey team of wherever they were in Canada. The Ottawa Senators jersey. He was like a goalie or something. And he was just like the man of a million gimmicks tonight. He was dressed up as everything. And pretty much helped James Ellsworth win the match. He caught a phenomenal forearm from AJ Styles after throwing him out of the ring. AJ climbed back up the ladder, got tipped out of the ring by Ellsworth, who started to climb the ladder, but as AJ was getting back into the ring, he hit the no chin music. AJ's leg got caught in between the ropes, and Ellsworth grabbed the contract, and now he's 3-0 against AJ Styles. Also, he earned himself a title match in the future, which I'm thinking is going to happen next week, but I think this is going to be it with the whole James Ellsworth AJ Styles thing. And it's kind of making AJ look a little bit bad. I'm not going to lie, he keeps losing to this guy. But the only reason I'm not going to crap on it too bad is because, one, every time it's been because of Dean Ambrose. And two, AJ's going to kill him next week. Because, for one, Shane's going to come back and he's going to be on Dean Ambrose's case. He is not going to be happy. He is not. I'd be surprised if he didn't, have security escort him out of the building this time and, take him away from the arena or suspend him for, a week or something like that. He's going to do something drastic next week to Dean Ambrose because he's pissed off at him. So that's going to leave James Ellsworth in there to get killed by AJ Styles. AJ is going to murder him for the final time, and it'll be over. AJ will win, and it'll be done between those guys, and then him and Dean can finish their build to their title match at TLC, and that'll be all. But SmackDown was alright. Pretty simple show. Nothing too, strenuous. SmackDown is a very simple show already. So nothing really major happened. It was kind of funny. They were all just trying to build up towards TLC, which is in a few weeks, and they don't have a lot of time to do so. So that's what they tried to do with the time that they had. But let me know what you guys thought of SmackDown. Was it a good show, bad show, just an average show for you guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Like the video if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. I think 13 subs away from 100. So thank you all who've been around for this whole journey, who've been supporting me for this long. I thank you guys so much. It really does mean a lot to me. And I'll talk to you guys later on. Peace.